All right. So we made it into this low mount position. My feet are off the ground. I'm keeping my knees very light on the ground if they touch at all, right? But I want him carrying my weight on to his, my hips onto his hips. I don't want it to be forward on my chest or anything like that. Now, one of the things that's going to happen a lot in this mount position is people are going to start to buck you off. They're going to bridge. They're not going to be able to get you completely off because of this. Now, when people bridge, a lot of times we're going to post out and then we're going to underhook the head. And sometimes I'm going to do that intentionally, right? I'm going to bring my weight over to one side and stretch out my arms. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do it on this side so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. So when I get out and I'm keeping my weight on this side, what this does is it makes me heavy so he can't lift me this way. And likewise, he can't continue to roll me this way because I've got that post here and I've got his head hooked. So I'm going to take this hand out. I may have to post with my head, right? But I'm going to start taking this hand back. I'm going to underhook his tricep, and then I'm going to start walking to kind of separate this elbow. Now from here, I can take the arm that was hooking his head and I can just grab his wrist for now, right? So, if he's still trying to buck me hard there, I might grapevine this leg on the opposite side. That's going to take away a lot of his bridging power. He's not going to be able to roll me as easily. If I need to, I can try to keep this leg wider so that he won't be able, I've got this as a post, so it might just help a little bit. For this, we are giving up our most powerful post here to get this arm separated. So do be careful here, right? So I got into this low mount position, right? Maybe he starts bucking me around. I hook his head. I'm all the way over here. Maybe I have my head as a post here. Maybe I'm using my leg. Maybe I'm straightening out my leg to grapevine to kind of prevent him from hitting me any further. I'm going to take my hand under. I'm going to get close as much under. See, I'm making a blade here. Get under his elbow and I get close to the ground. Now, I just inchworm that arm free, right? So, you might see this already. I could trap it with my head and go for a head and arm choke, right? So I just get that and then flip out and finish that head and arm choke, right? So I could grab his wrist with this hand, bring it out to the other side of his head. I've got that Americana there as well. So this is a very good way of kind of starting to separate the arm so that you can start to attack. I might, again, if I've got kind of maybe this head and arm position, maybe I'm just here, right? So I don't have any arm free at this point. I'm just right here. Again, I can grab my own bicep here, right? And because my head's blocking and keeping his head turned the other way, right? That head blocking, again, is going to prevent him from rolling because the body has to follow the head, right? I'm being so sloppy today. I apologize, guys. All right, so I'm here, right? I'm going to grab my own bicep. He can't see that. And I'm going to keep kind of pretending like maybe I'm trying to choke with this arm. Whatever, maybe I'm trying to pressure him over. Maybe he's bucking me. I'm just riding him. But in this moment, I'm going to take my head and I'll move it to the other side. And as I do so, I might start to touch the top of my head here. And I'm going to bring my arm with me. That's going to give me that reach across so I can start doing that no-gi Ezekiel. The thing that I see a lot, like people might come to this mid-range mount, maybe they're in guard or maybe they're in the mount, and they will just be here and they'll be way up here and like, I can't get past his hands, right? Because the guy knows what's coming. Once you get here and you grab your own bicep, he knows that choke is coming. So you want to do whatever you can to stop him from being able to block that, right? So, whether or not, maybe I should, this might be stupid, I don't know, I've never tried it. I might put my pressure on his hands so his hands can't extend out, I don't know, maybe I block him with my chin. Whatever I do, I could be, here, it may not be grabbing my own bicep here, but I'm going to keep my head to this side, and I have my blade underneath my jaw, so as I pick up and move, my hand moves through like a blade over the top of his neck, right? So any way that I can kind of keep that path clearer. But again, just like with the rear naked choke, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, but when I'm trying to bring an arm in front of somebody's face and they have a way to block that, I'm always going to lose that battle. And I guess this is a good time to get back on the soapbox again. So here's the reality. If I'm trying to get this over here, and this is one thing I see a lot of new wrestlers do all the time, is when I'm trying to go for this choke, they're like, oh, this is me trying to get this and it's not working. If I'm on the bottom and somebody's trying to go for that, this is what's gonna happen, right? I'm gonna be blocking that. I'm gonna have this shit happening. Maybe because I'm moving so much, I'm letting this elbow up, right? So again, this whole video is about that concept of getting that elbow free so I can start to attack it. So if I'm going for this no-gi Ezekiel here, and he's trying to push off a little bit, he's trying to block my hands with his hands, whichever side it is, that might be the way that I go ahead and get that arm across, right? Because he's starting to separate the arm in order to try to defend himself. So it's really important to not only know a technique, right? You know, a lot of times the attacks that I set up are not the attacks that I'm going for. And this is an example of that, right? And I know this is kind of a broader, sloppier video than some of my past ones have been, but this is kind of a good concept to start to understand, is that don't keep going for an attack if you never get that attack, right? I've seen a lot of guys go for this box choke every single time that they roll, and they never get it. Well, if somebody's trying to go for that, and they're defending, and their defenses are causing their elbows to lift up, you know that that's going to happen. It's happened to you a million times before. So start attacking that arm. Start separating that arm from the body, rather than continually going for that same choke, right? One thing that happens a lot, you know, we get into this armbar tug of war, right? They're going to be cupping over the top here. So if this arm's the one that's going to get attacked, they're going to go like this, right? So they're covering that. They're making this figure four thing. One of the things that I'm going to do immediately, because, you know, maybe I've got this grip, maybe I've got my own thigh here, however I'm trying to control that to start to pry that up, I'm going to take my foot out, this one, point my toe, and thread it in, right? And there's a couple reasons for that, right? What I just created in this particular instance is a foot in, foot out scenario, right? So I might be fighting this, and he knows one of the ways that he's going to escape this armbar is to sit up, right, and dump me over. So again, I might be going for this armbar, but I really suck at getting this armbar. That's not true, but let's say in this instance that I do. So he's trying, I'm trying to maybe use this to shake, get his arm to separate out. Maybe I capture his hand this way. We'll go over all that when we have a partner a little bit more, but I'm trying to separate that arm from the body. It's not happening, and so maybe I kind of like play with this. I want this to start feeling light and like I'm not paying attention to it, like I'm being sloppy, right? And that's kind of an important thing. So, you know, if I just take my leg off and I make a big thing of this, he's gonna probably know that I'm up to something. But if I'm getting kind of limpy here, maybe he's gonna start thinking that, oh, he's so focused on trying to get this armbar, and I'm focused on trying to get it. You know, he's not paying attention to this, so this is my chance. I'm gonna start to sit up to escape. When he sits up, notice one arm in, one arm out. Boom. I just set up that triangle choke. So I really, the big point that I want you to get away from this particular video is that if you can't get a submission, you can set it up a million times, right? But just it never lands for you. Try to think about what submission follows that, right? Okay, this never works for me. How do I follow it up with another submission, right? Because really, when I was still a white belt and I was starting to get better and I started getting good at the triangles, omoplatas, and arm bars from the guard, I would always like go for that arm bar. People would defend that arm bar, and maybe I'd go into the Kung Fu armbar, which we haven't done yet. We haven't done the guard armbar either. But maybe I'll transition into that triangle. They wrap their arm around my leg to try to defend that triangle, trying to prevent it from getting tight. And then I swing my leg over and I go into an omoplata, right? Or maybe he kind of starts to stack me. I go for a belly down armbar. So there's all kinds of things that I can do, and I know that these attacks chain into one another. So the more that you can, if I have passed the guard, I know that when I pass the guard, he's going to probably get onto his side to start to try to shrimp out, right? He wants to get away from me. I know I can start going for this, right? He blocks that path. I know that I can switch into that that anaconda choke from here. Maybe he knows that he doesn't want to get in that position, so he flattens out. So maybe I'm just going to establish that side control for now. If I come over here, I go into that scarf position or the switch base position. Scarf is a good bait, right? If somebody starts to turn away and post off you so they can start to sit up in the scarf hold position, switch your legs, right? So I'm here. I guess I've not really practiced that, but I'm here. And I get here, so he can't sit up. He's pushing off, he's extending his arm. Okay, I've got this this armbar here. But maybe I'm not set up very well to get that step over. I could still get this armbar. One way that I could do it is I might back my hip out, come here, come belly down, and I can get a belly down armbar here. Just potentially, right? Maybe he's not letting me get that step up. So I come back and I push down and then I throw my foot over the top, lock up, get this scarf shoulder lock, right? Maybe he bends in and he's trying to bring his arm back as hard as he can. Push, unhook, right? So every technique that you can get from one position can be strung into another technique, and I know this is long-winded, but that's kind of the point. As I want you to start looking at the techniques that are similar to one another and see if you can figure out ways that you can transition from one technique to the other technique for when a submission doesn't work, because that's what's going to make you better, right? And the thing is that when people are stressing out over, oh shit, I need to defend, and you've got this chain of defenses, they're going to get burnt out on that very quickly. And so the odds that they're going to make a mistake is going to go up, 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 up until eventually something lands. And so really play around with that, okay? Start thinking about how you can string these things together so that you're hitting the submissions that are actually a higher percentage for you, but you get to those submissions by attacking other submissions first, or other sweeps, or whatever. Maybe you have a very aggressive knee ride. Like I said, you get up into that knee ride, and if people are trying to escape and you're doing this shit all the time, right? You're spinning around like crazy, and this whole time they're taking your weight in the gut and you're spinning and driving it into their gut the whole time. Eventually somebody's gonna either try to turn all the way on their side. Okay, great. There's that Darce choke. Or maybe they're gonna push off. I'm gonna get that far side armbar. Maybe they're gonna try to lift up on this guy here, right? I don't know. Come down and get that bicep slice. So look at it. Think about it from all these different perspectives and try to find ways that you can string things together, and that's going to make you so much better. Thank you guys for watching. I know that was long-winded.